Let me ask you something. Do you ever find yourself overthinking everything? Or maybe you get trapped in a cycle of self-doubt. We're often told these are flaws, things we need to fix about ourselves. But what if they're not? What if they're actually signs of a seriously capable mind? Today, we're going to reframe 5 common mental habits, turning them from struggles into strengths.
So, let's start with this one. Does your brain ever feel like it's running a marathon when all you have to do is make one simple decision, just analyzing every single angle until you're completely wiped out?
Okay, or how about this? You feel totally sure about something, but then, just a minute later, you find yourself playing devil's advocate, actively poking holes in your own argument just to see if it'll stand up to the pressure. And when your brain works like that, analyzing everything, questioning everything, does it ever make you feel, a little disconnected from everyone else? Like you're seeing all this complexity and detail that other people just seem to glide right over.
If you're sitting there nodding along to any of this, then here's the big idea I want you to consider. What if these aren't bugs in your mental operating system? What if they are, in fact, powerful built-in features of a high-level mind?
So let's dive right into that reframe. We're going to look at how we can flip the script on what feels like a daily struggle and see it for what it really is, a genuine cognitive strength. This right here is the whole idea in a nutshell. What we've been calling overthinking, well, that's really just deep analytical processing. That nagging self-doubt, that's actually something called cognitive flexibility. And that lonely feeling of isolation, turns out it's often just the price of admission for having a truly unique perspective. And just to make sure we're on the same page, let's quickly define a really key term you'll hear: cognitive flexibility. All it means is the brain's ability to adapt its thinking, to jump between different ideas, and to even hold 2 opposing thoughts in your head at the same time. Trust me, it's a cornerstone of high-level thinking. Okay, with that foundation set, let's get into it. We're going to break down these 5 signs one by one and unpack exactly how each of these habits points to a seriously powerful intellect.
All right, first up, the big one.
You know it, you live it, you overthink things. And yeah, it can feel like a total curse sometimes. But here's what's actually happening under the hood. Your brain isn't just taking things at face value. It's running a deep, complex, and sophisticated analysis. I mean, this says it all perfectly. That mental churn you feel, it's not your mind just spinning its wheels. It's actually exploring every possible angle, every potential outcome. That's not just worry, that's high-level analysis. It's a skill that lets you see problems before they even happen.
And all that deep analysis? Well, it leads us right into our second sign. This one can really feel like you just lack confidence, right? You come to a conclusion and then almost immediately you start challenging it. Meanwhile, everyone else seems so certain and you're stuck in this endless loop of review.
But really, this is that cognitive flexibility we were just talking about, in action. It's the exact opposite of rigid, black and white thinking. It means you care more about what's true than about being right. And in a world that changes as fast as ours does, that is an absolute superpower. You see how these are connected? When you're that flexible in your thinking, it brings us naturally to our third sign.
For you, the world is rarely just black or white. It's not a simple yes or no. It's more like highly likely or pretty unlikely or, well, it's possible, but only if X, Y, and Z happen first.
It's kind of like this chart. While some people are stuck looking for 100% certainty, you're comfortable living across the whole spectrum of what's probable or just plain possible. You're not just jumping to conclusions, you are intuitively weighing the odds. That's the bedrock of strategic thinking.
But let's be honest, seeing the world in such a complex way, well, it can have its drawbacks. And that brings us to sign number 4. When you're constantly processing the world on this deeper level, seeing all the nuance and the connections that other people miss, it can feel pretty lonely. You've probably been there. You try to explain a brilliant idea, and you're just met with blank stares. So please, hear this reframe, because it's so important. Feeling out of sync isn't a sign there's something wrong with you. It's a sign that you have a unique vantage point. You're seeing the bigger picture. And that perspective is exactly where innovation and creativity are born. It's a priceless asset. And that brings us to our 5th and final sign. And honestly, this might be the most counterintuitive one of them all. This last one can feel like the absolute biggest weakness. That persistent, nagging feeling that you just don't know enough. It can be totally paralyzing. But what if it's actually pointing to something incredibly profound about how you think? And this, right here, is maybe the most powerful reframe we have.
Because true intelligence isn't about knowing everything. It's about being deeply, acutely aware of how much you don't know. So that feeling isn't self-doubt, it's intellectual humility. It's the engine that drives curiosity and the very foundation of wisdom.
So, after looking at all 5 of these signs, what's the bottom line? The message is actually pretty simple, but it can be life-changing. It's time to stop fighting the way your mind works and start embracing it as your greatest strength.
So, let's just recap those shifts one more time. Your overthinking is really deep analysis. Your constant questioning is cognitive flexibility. Your need to see nuance is just thinking in probabilities. That feeling of isolation, it comes from your unique perspective. And that nagging self-doubt, that's the mark of intellectual humility.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. These are not flaws that need to be fixed. They are powerful tools waiting to be honed. Recognizing that power in how your mind works, well, that's step 1. The next and way more exciting step is deciding what you're going to build with it.